Daniel's going to sprawl. When he comes out of the sprawl, based on, thank you, based on where I put the pad, he's going to send a strike. Let's call it 2 strikes. I could also, as the pad holder, being the coach, I could also change it every time, right? I'm going to have to understand the people I have working in the room, how loud it is. Like, they're going to have to get their partner's attention, and there's some big safety things there, because if I say 3 and he hears 2 or 4 or something, and I'm thinking 3 is coming, right, and then I stop holding the pad and he keeps kicking, there can be some bad things. So, not just for like, oh, well, they should speak louder. Like, okay, but if he did not hear me and I move the pad because I think he's done and he's not, there's some safety concerns. So we're going to go with 2 strikes no matter what I hold. And I don't have to, again, scaling it based on the group. Maybe this is foundation, and if it's here, it's a rising front kick, and if it's here, it's palm heel strikes. But if this is a more advanced group, and like what I'm going to do with Daniel, he's going to pick his poison, as long as it's accurate for the target I am presenting. If the pad is down here, and he drop elbows it or punches it, like, that wasn't a great call. It wasn't a great idea. This might be a rising front kick. It might be a rising slap. There are different things he can do here that would make sense, okay? So he sprawls. He's going to throw 2 of whatever he sees. He sprawls. He's going to throw 2 of whatever he sees. Beautiful. I'm like, a little bit high.
Holding it down so I didn't break the mic.
I was. Yeah, no, I was. So now it's on pad holder to keep a dynamic environment, be ready to go, ready to push. We know it's only going to be 2 strikes, so I've still kind of set a limit on what the pace is going to be. Versus if I say, you can just decide how many. And we add in that sprawl is a little extra fun. But honestly, it's more for safety, because if Daniel and I are working and I want him to throw strikes when he's ready, I'll make sure that he knows, like, this is us moving and this is me ready. This is us moving and this is me ready. Like, I do that with the pad and with my body, but that takes time. So I throw the sprawl in as like now is your time as the pad holder to figure out what you're doing and where you're moving. And sometimes I make them do 2 or 3 sprawls, because I know their pad holders aren't going to figure out what to do, and they're going to be indecisive, and they're going to go like this, and they're going to be, oh, wait, no, I meant this. And now they're getting kicked and punched. So especially when it comes to pad holding and safety and being a great instructor, people not getting hurt because of your ignorance and negligence, like, we need to pay attention to what's likely to happen when we're holding for pads and moving between different things, okay? So one person sprawls. As they come out of it, you're going to hold some kind of way. They're going to throw 2 of whatever strike they feel is appropriate. Move and do it again. Sprawl to strikes. On 3. Woo! I stole this. There we go. All right, let's go.
Holding the whole way?
Yeah. I'll switch you. Time, switch, other side, same deal. Other side, switch it. All right, time. Let's give power over to the student. The student pad holder coach person. Daniel's going to put covers on, get in a good stance, good structure, and I'm just going to beat him where I would like, because it's Daniel and I can do that, okay? You're going to beat your partner, move them around a little bit. Now when you're ready for them to strike, you're going to hold the pad. You'll say something clever like go or something, and they'll punch. And when he's done, he'll stop and cover up, and then I'll beat him again, okay? This is kind of like, now I have given control to the coach and kind of to the student, that they understand what a burst of strikes is. Because some don't, like you have foundation members, students, they come in, you put the pad on, and then you stand there and you punch until somebody says otherwise, right? Or they throw like 1 or 2 and they're like, all right, cool, that was nice, what's next? It's like, no, we need more. So I'm giving control to the student to decide what a burst of punches is when he sees the pad there. I'm giving control to the pad holder on deciding how much beating I'm doing versus how much holding I'm doing, okay? Let's keep it just straight punches, or if your wrists or fingers or whatever are jacked up, hammer fists, whatever you need to do for that kind of more forward impact on your strike. We'll do it quickly, each person, and then we're going to move into the jiu-jitsu world just a little bit. I won't kill you guys. I know we got tank tops on, but just as another kind of idea in terms of drilling and setting up that kind of control. So, last one with pads. Last punchy, kicky stuff. All right? First person up on 3. Woo! Let's move. Beat him up a little bit. On go, let him hit. Time switch. Let's get it.
Go. 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 Go.
Time. Beautiful. Just put those pads towards the wall. Thank you. Beautiful. Okay. So we're going to move a little bit into the jiu-jitsu realm for the next few drills. I've heard a bunch of different ways to do this, especially for a while I had stolen Craig Douglas's competitive, non-competitive, consensual, non-consensual. I like the resistance terminology that Eli was using, I think, on yesterday. And so I plan to mix that in. One of the, again, in terms of like teaching kids, teaching you how to be a really good coach, kids don't understand what competitive means sometimes, and then they especially don't understand when it's competitive, but one person is going to win. So you're adding that resistance, and being able to explain it to them has helped a ton, and having words to what we're doing is super helpful because they don't understand drilling pace and learning pace and competition. Like, we are actively working for the same goal. We can't both achieve it at the same time. One is going to win. I blame COVID, but I'll save that rant for now. So if Nick's on his back, Nick's my partner, his goal is going to be, we'll start from guard. His goal is going to be to sweep me. And if I did a class, maybe when it was simple sweep, maybe I tell him it can only be simple sweep. Maybe I did a class, but I have people who have done a bunch of different other things, and I tell them it can be any sweep because I have my 2 over here that are new working their simple sweep or whatever it is. I'm going to give Nick resistance, but at some point he's going to win. So I'm not just going to make it easy. We're not just drilling or learning. I can't remember the terminology used.
I can't either.
Okay, great. Excellent. Then what you said was, no, we're not just repetition. We're not just doing repetitions. We're not just doing repetitions, and we're not just, drilling with the set expectations, but I'm still allowing him to get some good practice and learning in through this experiment. So I work and I make him work to get his leg in front, and I don't exactly give him the energy, and then maybe I do, and he's like, oh, sweet, I got that. Oh, amazing. Now he's going to go in my guard, and it's my turn. So we're going to go 1 for 1 on this one, making it competitive, but at some point you're going to win and you're going to switch. Kind of a student-led pacing, because I don't know when I said give them some resistance, but they should win at some point, I don't know what everybody else heard. They may have heard, fight him, 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 fight him. Okay, I'm bored. Switch. Let him sweep me and we switch, okay? Groups like this, of course, we should understand how much resistance, about how long they're going to be fighting through it. And there are some cases in classes where I'll look over and be like, hey, he really just kind of needs some wins. Like, give him some resistance. Don't let it take too long. Like, give him a few and then start amping it up, like just very little at a time. If you have that kind of flexibility and luxury in your classes to be able to pull somebody, partner them specifically, and kind of help structure what's happening. Because this shit's hard. If I have somebody that's coming in and we're doing these kinds of drills, and every time they're just stuck on bottom all the time, and I'm not doing a good job framing it for them and doing a good job pairing them so that they understand that you can reach some success and get somebody who can help almost hand it to you like, oh, okay, go now, then it's going to be really difficult.
I was just going to say that one of the biggest things that whenever I'm running a drill similar to this is you'll start to see a lot of the time that I'm resisting, shutting everything down.
And then just dead fish.
Completely
Yeah.
obvious. And so usually what that happens on the other end of 100% gave it to me. I didn't
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
I did nothing to
Yep.
do that. They essentially swept themselves. So, your drill, I don't know how you overcome that. It's like, the thing is, like, you have to still have that element of resistance even on the one you give to
Yeah.
them, you know, so that.
I combat that by saying switch. Yeah. Which, by the way, like, I'll switch, especially, this is what I did in foundation. I switched people until I was happy with who was with each other. And then I did a little bit of chaos switches or whatever. But if I do have some issues, I might just have them switch, find a new partner. And sometimes it'll be like their people are drilling and I'm like, hey, I'm about to say switch. I need you to like sprint to that person. Or not sprint, that would be obvious. But I'm going to have you go grab that person. And again, like, you know, partnering matters. That dude who goes from, you know, resistance, dead fish energy, partnered with someone who understands the technique, you know, okay, like this, we're going to do more drills. Like, you're not going to completely lose out value on what we're doing, but they at least understand and know, and they're not losing out on the learning opportunity for this. So, yeah, switch is usually how I go about it. Because it's, especially if they don't know, it's hard to explain, because you have to be a coach at that point, right? If I'm just resisting Nick, and then I start pushing in towards him here, and he's not doing it, now I have to be like, hey, my weight's loaded on you, I'm up, and then Nick's like, oh yeah, that's right, like, yeah, that's what they said, you know? But I can't count on everyone to be a coach in the class. It would be really helpful, but most of them would suck, yeah.
One way that we combat that, whether it's standing on the ground, is I give the person giving the energy a time limit.
Yeah.
You give them energy for a second, maybe a second and a half.
Yeah, but then they could still dead fish.
They
The problem is
can.
understanding.
Correct, absolutely. But they at least know that after a second, they need to change the energy and then just go back to working so they're not just throwing it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, so let's just do it real quick. Simple sweeps, pay attention, understand that, you know, if your body is oriented this way and the other person next to you is oriented this way, you don't do that. Somebody switch. Again, things that I would not trust if this was a student class, like I would put you in specific spots. Kids, I literally put spots down on the floor and I'm like, that is where you live. And they'll be over here sometimes and I'm like, where's your home? And they're like, oh shit, it's over there. Like, I scare them back to their house. But anyway, so be careful, pay attention. Simple sweeps, you're basically repping it out, but you're getting some active resistance and understanding that at some point you're going to win. If this was a student level class, you know, one way we could do it is maybe tell them about 10 seconds you're fighting or whatever it is. And then in a class where you trust them more, letting them kind of dictate the pace. All right, so we'll do this for, I don't know, a minute or so. Every time you sweep your partner, switch positions. On three. Woo! If you don't know a simple sweep, figure it out. Nice. Look before you sweep. I didn't do it. I don't understand. Watch your feet, Yoon. It's all over the place. Okay, beautiful sweeps. And so if I want more of a fitness element out of this, I won't let them switch each time. It'll just be like, great, you swept them, right back in guard. Great, you swept them, right back in guard. Or I'll do that a lot for getting newer students rolling, where they just play, I call it guard game. They know that they're gonna pass guard very easily the first time. The second time it's gonna be not quite as easy. The third time it's gonna be not quite as easy, and I'll just build it and build it and build it until they spend, I'll look over, they're spending 20 seconds or so in guard, really struggling, really fighting. Maybe they eventually get out. So even if all they know is what I taught in class that day, and it was trap and roll or a guard pass or a submission, like they can kind of get that added resistance for what they're doing. Plus, you know, fit matters. I don't know. I can't explain it. Last thing we're going to do is probably not unfamiliar to you. It's a Shark Tank style drill. We'll get it. We're going to go long enough to get it going. I'm not trying to kill everybody. We'll do a few iterations. We'll probably start standing so it's not maybe as taxing, and then hit the ground for fun. I like to do this because it almost makes winning suck. and losing not so bad. It's like, because if somebody is like just losing every time, like that sucks. And somebody is just like beating everybody, that sucks. So if I can set up a drill where they keep winning and it means somebody else comes in at them and they win and someone else comes in at them and they're like, oh my God, I don't care. Pass my guard now. Like, I'm fucking sick of this. Get me out. Like, now somebody got a win that doesn't usually get a win. That person got a loss, but they're not like, oh man, I suck, I'm the worst. You know, like, I didn't completely ruin them with it. They just almost wanted it out. Like, yeah, I let them beat themselves up is, I guess, what I'm doing. Janetti can break it down later, I suppose. So we'll do it relatively quickly. Everybody's gonna touch hands with a lot of different people in the room. Be smart, be safe. I don't really care how well you do in this drill, so calm down. Everybody hit the black wall for me. Calm down. You guys will kind of do this, my group of 3 down there, you guys will just have 2 people in to start with, and then when somebody loses, the next person goes in. So it'll be a little mini version. It'll be a little bit less work on the coach, because there is no coach. If I call your name, you're just gonna stand out here in the middle of the ocean of such, okay? So just Brandon, James, Stephanie, let's go, Yoon, Alec, Joe, Daniel, that'll be fun. Come on out. Yeah, Danny, sorry. Anya, Janetti, that'll be good. You'll be good. I know. Okay, so this first round, and I'm just picking something, it could be anything, I'm picking something completely random. This will be fun. You're gonna start 50-50 with your partner. To kind of get started, you'll just tap your partner's back as like a go kind of thing, and then whoever gets to the back first wins. You get your partner's back, you win, you stay in. If you come out, you're gonna go to the end of the line. I'll show you where the line will be in a second, okay? So winning is getting your partner's back, losing is getting your back taken. Pick a partner, pick a partner, pick a partner, just all 3 of you in a row. Pick a partner, 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 pick a partner. I don't know how many people are down here. Already winning.
Okay.
Yeah, it can be anyone, doesn't have to be the person in front of you. Go get a partner, Tanja. There's a whole line of them. There's a whole line of them. You missed out because he wasn't paying attention. All right.
I don't know what's going on.
Pay attention so you know where the line is.
I'm in the line.
Line formed
Y'all
there.
follow it down. So this is the front of the line. That's the end of the line.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
All right. Touch hands with your partner. Get set 50-50. If you win, stay in. If you lose, end of the line. Let's go.
Okay.
Winning is taking your partner's back. Again, you decide how horrible this is. Don't kill each other. Or, you know, whatever.
I don't know about this one.
Tanja, you're going down to Aaron. Going to Nick. You're going to, who won? Who won? You're going to Letty. Going there. You're going to Janetti. Winner stays in. Loser goes to the end. Go to E, or Tanja, sorry. You're going to Dave. Go to Yoon. You're going to Sam. You're going to Daniel. Good luck. You're going to, yep. Did someone win? I don't know. You won now. There you go. Yeah! You're going to Anya. You're going to Sam. You're going to Aaron. All right, freeze. So hopefully everybody kind of got the flow. You guys did really well. Much better than the kids at this. I have to like, you're going to this person who's standing there waving at you. Okay. Anyway, it does, if you don't know names, this might not be the job for you. But if you want to be better at knowing names, this will really make you think on the fly. Huh? Put a marker on the floor? Yeah. Go to the yellow, go to the blue, go to the green. Still a lot. Anyway, we're going to do the same thing. We'll do the same thing quickly. One person in the group on your back. Your partner, go ahead and take front mount. This one sucks, sorry. Front mount. That's okay. You know, I just had to say it again. Be careful, we don't have a lot of room. I'm hoping this goes the way I think it's gonna go. Person on bottom, yeah, terribly. Person on bottom, your goal is to reverse the position. That's probably gonna be some form of a trap and roll or a shrimp escape. It's a buck or a shrimp. That's, how it's gonna start anyway. Person on top, your job is to submit. You need a submission to win, okay? Oh. You cannot, until you lock it in, you cannot move. So you have to have the arm isolated or grabbed or something, okay? All right. Mount? No. Oh, so actually, hang on. Eli asked a good question. A plus. No. He asked if half guard counted. So if I have somebody who's pretty new, then maybe half guard counts. Maybe escaping to their knees is what I'm looking for. Maybe I want them to be able to get standing. Maybe I want them a full reversal of the position. Like I can tier this, I can level it. So if it's somebody against Daniel Chacon, I'm going to be like, yeah, half guard is great. Wow, that's magic. But anyway, if it's somebody newer, that might be like, you know what, your goal is, get not in front mount anymore. Like that's a win.
But what if when you get in my half guard, you're already dead? So.
There is that. There is that to consider, but not in this drill. All right, because leg lockers, so there's that. All right, so if you lose, you come out to the end of the line. So if you're sitting on top of your partner right now, your goal is a submission. You can finish it from any other position, but you have to set it up from here and start getting it controlled from here. Person on bottom, your job is to not be in front mount anymore. Put on your own restrictions. So get your back taken, stop that. Although that's how I roll with Ryan. I'm like, well, technically I'm not in front mount anymore. Like you took my back, it's fine. In your mind, that might be a full reversal of position. If you're more self-defense oriented, that might be shrimp, like even if you choose to shrimp escape and you get to guard, that might not be enough to you. You want to get up to your knees. Like you can kind of decide what that is for you. You might be like, I'm in 3/4 mount now, I'm good to go. Like that's my win. So you can kind of play with it a little bit because of this group. Otherwise, I would be more prescriptive probably with who I'm dealing with. Cool? All right.
If you win, do you get on top?
That's what I was going to ask.
If you win, you stay on your back. Ah, suckers. To the top position. Yep. All right. Touch hands. Let's go. I don't know what, win, because this is where winning is not paying off, you know?
Oh, damn, Nick. Who I got?
Some Letty, I think, or Sam. Figure out who won. Oh, good luck, Eli. Right here. Be careful. Small room. Lots of people. It's Daniel. You're going to Brandon. You're going to Anya. Oh, you're going to Daniel. You're going to Daniel. The other Daniel. You're going to Alec. You're going to Maddie.
Way to go, Maddie!
You're going to Ian. You're going to Anya. You're going to Sam. Oh, damn, Sam. Oh, how'd you luck out? Aaron, you're going to Nick. Mike to Daniel.
Oh, jeez.
James, you're going to Brandon.
I would be letting you out of my mouth.
You're going to Alec. Yeah, or Freddie, whoever stays down. Oh, just kidding. Somebody stood up. Maddie, go to Daniel. Letty, go to Anya. Good. Go to Nick. You know what? It happens. It's okay.
Oh, dang.
This doesn't count, does it?
I have no idea anymore. I think that might count. Tanja, you're going to you. I don't know. I feel like self-defense wise, he has the advantage. You good? Okay. Good. Head to Anya. Head to Janetti. Mike, head to Brandon. You good? Be smart. You good?
I'm good.
Good. Head to Eli. Head to Nick. You good? You doing good? Okay, head to Daniel. Time! Okay. You can chill. I lost Zoom right at the end there. Disappointing, so I'll fill them in on this. Everybody's good? Cool. I use this as a check-in point too. And I do sometimes, like I went straight in a row, first person, but I'll also jump people. I'll be like, hey, Eli, why don't you go with Daniel and not make, Stephanie roll with him or whatever. And if I have, in my jiu-jitsu classes, I teach kids in jiu-jitsu mostly. So that's kind of what I'm drawing from, but it could be whatever class. In my jiu-jitsu classes, I have teenage girls, just like an influx of them. It's great, but it's a whole other concern level. And then, big giant adults. Some are parents, and I've known them forever, and their kids are in my kids program and all this stuff, and some are brand new off the street. And I don't want to pair this teenage girl with this stranger that I don't know yet. So I might pluck and choose and mix them around. There's usually enough chaos that nobody's like, oh, why haven't I gotten this person every time? Like, nobody should be sitting here like, you know what, I never got Tanja. I feel like there's something there. Like, nope, it was just wild. We just kept going. We kept moving. So I do kind of monitor that. But again, especially in this drill, and we didn't quite do it long enough to really feel it. I mean, I'll do this for like 15 minutes sometimes, just ruining people. And a lot of times it's because we're pretty mismatched in size, and it doesn't make sense for, I'm not going to have me and Dave roll the entire time or whatever. We roll all the time, every time, all the time. But there's also not a lot of value in me just touching hands with Daniel and being like, all right, let's do a full roll, because I'm never going to get to front mount in that game. But in this game, I get to start in front mount and I get to see what I can do. And I might fail every time I come through that line and get on top, but I get more and more chances to try. And that's what, especially as a female growing up, I was a teenage girl in classes, damn. Anyway, being a female teen growing up, like, I never knew what to do when I got on top, because I never got on top for the first 2 years. And I finally started to the point where I could get on top, and then just immediately got reversed because I had no idea what I was doing there. So I like having the opportunity to start from front mount. Even if I immediately get bucked off, I at least have a chance to do something. And again, so Eli was saying, like, a win is, if a win, you go on your back or you get on top, and like, you stay on your back. He's like, that's not a win. I'm like, you're right. It sucks to win. I want you beaten and broken down so that you are finally like, I am sick of this. And Stephanie comes up and she just knows Americana, and she learned it yesterday in the 1 rep that I gave her. And she goes like this, and you're like, oh yeah, yep, just keep going. Like, this is great. And at least she's going to get that next rep. Hey, all right. Everybody's good, though? Everyone had fun? I was checking in, too, making sure people are good. Because you get to now kind of interact with everybody as you're moving, rather than maybe you're kind of stuck sort of watching this group and you don't realize that someone's over here, low-key writhing in pain and not telling anybody or not tapping on their partner, that kind of thing. So I get some frequent check-ins on that kind of note. Okay, are there any questions on drills for skills and thrills? And chills and mills and cool.
For the levels, how do you separate, or do you lessen what you would do for the lower levels?
Yeah.
And how would you make those constraints?
Yeah, I'm going to kind of stick from a grappling sensibility, because it's going to be wrestling if it's, Krav Maga or whatever. If it's a true competition, I'm not going to be like, okay, 3, 2, 1, try to choke them out and see if they defend, So it might be that the goal shifts. So if I have a lot of newer people, then maybe the goal isn't to get all the way to the back. It's to get to a Russian arm or to get double unders. Yeah, so I can change the goal. And I don't have to do that for everybody. obviously, we don't have any kind of indicators on us that say white belt, blue belt, whatever. When we do, it's great because I can be like, all right, if you're a white belt, your goal is this, or whatever. But I might let people know, hey, if it's your first 2 classes, your goal is X, Y, Z, and probably the people in the class know the new faces kind of thing based on how we structure our setup, at least.
Tattoos are not indicators that you are not a white belt. I've had more than one person be like, oh, I thought you were badass at jiu-jitsu. No, I'm not.
Because of the tattoos. That might come up tomorrow.
Just fashionable things.
Yeah.
I was
Have-
just about to get some tats.
I know. Have fun, play with it, play with different iterations.
You can give them to yourself.
Don't be afraid to stop the drill if it's just not working out the way you thought. And it's good to kind of have drills, your quick go-to, back of mind. Like if this fucks up, it's going to be a simple A-B drill. I say A, you run in at the pad. I say B, you go, pummel. Like something in the back of your head where like, okay, if this is just not going right, you know what? Let's switch it. And now it's what we did in the beginning. It's simple sweep for simple sweep. It's competitive, but at some point someone's going to win kind of stuff. Do you want to add? Yeah.
No, I had a question. Can you talk about how if someone is just, it happens, but like if someone's just not having success in any direction.
Yeah.
And it's like you're trying to really give them you're trying to handhold them, but you're obviously trying to let them learn. But
Yeah.
they're just not having success, and it's like almost at the point that like what, I'm
Yeah.
over this.
Yeah.
And it's not just one class, it's been a consistency, and you've been doing a great job of like really kind of make sure that we're with them through the steps,
Yeah.
but they're just not succeeding.
Yeah.
So what is you don't want to, I don't know, I'm going to say you wouldn't want to level down.
Yeah.
And keep the class. But
Yeah.
like what would you?
I would go to more of like a think big, aim small kind of setup where like, yes, the goal of shrimp escape for a mount is still to actually escape mount. But our small win might be getting your elbow on the inside of the knee.
Oh, you think it's smaller.
Like, and so now our definition of success, while it is still escape mount, it is also wedge that elbow. Oh, you got it. They, cleared it right out of the way. That's okay. We did like that first step of success, And I have a kid right now. He's awesome. I'd say that about all of them, but anyway, he's awesome. He just cannot get out from mount. Like he can't. I think it's a kid thing where they just don't understand like how to engage muscles really. But he does not stop. And so I've framed this many times. I'm like, I saw you stuck under, Emily's front mount the entire time and you did not stop and you kept moving and like that's exactly what you needed to do today. And we move on. It might be pairing them up with the right people so they start tasting a little bit of success and understanding what it feels like to do it right. But again, you now have to rely on another person as the coach, and so it can get a little sticky. But really reframing what success is, because there are people with a really jiu-jitsu already has a really long learning curve, and then you're like, oh shit, and then you're back here again, and it sucks. But there are people who it goes even even longer. And it's funny because I still feel like at some point they do eventually are like, oh man, light bulb. But they don't get to go up here and then plateau. They're like, oh, like shit. But also if they can stick through that, they can kind of stick through anything. So that would be kind of why my first is redefining what success is for that. Because, y'all have seen me roll Ryan and, decide to quit jiu-jitsu most weekends. Just is what it is, and then I come back, so I guess it's okay. But, sometimes passing his guard, I'm like, yes! And then I'm immediately triangled, but I don't care because, I got past his guard without baiting the triangle or whatever. So, we redefine what success is to help mentally keep us going so that we can physically keep going, right? The body will quit way before the mind or some shit. I'll let you get hit that.
I do that with Jamie. I had ride time.
Uh-huh.
The amount of time I spent on top of him.
Yeah.
I run that shit on the board.
Yeah.
And after 6 months, it was
Started going now.
a minute and 5 seconds.
Yeah.
God damn it. That's
I'm proud of you.
5 seconds.
Yeah.
Proud of him.
Every time. I'll say it.
It's a harsh board.
Then he'll flip me
That help?
Love.
Other things to add about that?
Like if what's their attitude about it too? Like, are they
Yeah.
mindlessly doing it, or are they hard on themselves doing it too? Like, 'cause you definitely need to point out those wins if they're looking like that. But if they're mindlessly, man, you're here. This is fantastic.
There are, there are some moods that are like, yeah, I might never escape front mount ever. I don't care. Like, let's keep going. Like, those are fun to have.
You know
But
what, like, piggybacking on what you're saying, when we were doing the training, that was something that kind of helped me overcome different things with the kickboxing we were doing. And it was just understanding you're overthinking stuff, and then if I'm not doing what it said, just
yeah,
why can't I get it?
yeah, you get so hard on
But
yourself on
you
that
were
one
having
thing.
a different kind of reinforcement on what I should consider wins.
Yeah.
And that did help me a whole
Yeah.
lot.
I think that's probably the basis for continuing with any of this. Because if your definition of a win is literally anyone I touch hands with, I need to win, unless you're, in a school where they don't do anything and you're the only one doing you're going to have a really bad time, and you are probably going to not stick around very long. But, if your definition of win that day is, well, I've been working on this cool little setup, and maybe I don't get it all the way to where I wanted to, but I saw an opportunity and I started taking it, and then I got shut down. Like, you get that rep, just like we got to front mount and we could start there. And even though I got knocked off immediately, I had a chance to start looking for something to enforce that. Yeah.
I think a lot of times, especially as coaches, we take for granted how many small steps are involved in a larger thing.
Yeah.
Like an elbow escape, right? There's
Yeah.
6 things that have to happen in a relatively good order,
Just 6.
right? Right? And so almost anybody in this room, but if I roll with Eli, I'm just happy that I can frame on his hips and he doesn't pluck my elbow out within 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I was like, cool, that's sweet. I'm amazing today. And then he does some really cool shit, and I'm just like, fuck. But I think we take for granted a lot of times
Yeah.
the amount of actual steps that it takes to get through a move, and that works for punches as well. And
I think it's not to cut you off, but it's how many steps there are to learning. Kind of what I was saying before. It's not just I know it or I don't. You walk by somebody and you have to tell them to put their hands up. You walk by them again, you have to tell them to put their hands up. You start walking over to them and they're like, oh shit. They just learned something. Is that what, are you going to be in the parking lot when they're getting their ass handed to them to start walking up to them for them to be like, oh, okay, yeah. No, but they have started that learning process. That is an indicator of learning. If we don't understand that, then we can't help them and encourage them and keep them going.
And I think it's worthwhile that we build drills that encourage the individual steps, right? Even again, elbow escape, framing on the hips, right? We build drills up to where they're working just that, and they're able to work that thing. Forget the rest of the elbow escape. That's a skill within itself. I think a lot of times as coaches, we find ourselves trying to get to the whole move every single time.
Yeah.
Understand that, especially in jiu-jitsu,
Absolutely. Yeah.
that each one of those steps is a separate skill, and building that up in a good way, that's a whole other side for drills.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Drills or drills to give students to take home for them, so they can work on stuff like shadowboxing and stuff like that.
Ooh, yeah. Solo, I would say solo skills. Don't let them go home and touch hands with somebody. I say that because I teach a lot of women's one-off self-defense seminars, and I'm just going to be blunt about it. They go home to their dumb-ass boyfriends, their stupid-ass husbands, their goofy-ass brothers, and they go, choke me, let me show you what I did in class. And that dumbass strangles them as hard as they can, and they go light and easy because they don't want to hurt them, and then it doesn't work, and they're like, it doesn't work. And I'm like, well, did they fucking attack you? And they were like, yeah. Did you fucking attack them back? And they're like, well, no, I didn't want to hurt them. I was like, that's not the game. That is not what we're doing here. So anyway, I do end my seminars with, if you are going to go home and ask your husband, your spouse, your boyfriend, your brother to try to choke you, you have to be ready to jack up their wrist and elbow them in the face. Just FYI. I don't know if it's worked. I haven't had any feedback yet, but I'm going to go with hopefully. Yes. I don't. Do you have a specific
Were you asking examples?
Yeah.
examples of things? It's so. quality and quantity. People like to emphasize quality, I feel like, a lot. And if that is true, I'm not going to give you an answer, spoiler alert. If it is true that you only want quality reps, then no one should go home and practice on their own. Because if you're doing it wrong and you don't have a coach there to tell you, you're not getting quality repetitions in. If it's quantity, and I feel like even though it might not be perfect, but still doing the movements, even if it's not quite there, they should go home and do it. I send them home with movements that mirror what we do in classes. There's your non-answer.
I've got quite a few videos on solo drills for jiu-jitsu on night jiu-jitsu.
And there's the internet.
That's what I was waiting for. Right?
Patreon. Yeah. Okay. There you go. Beautiful.
You're trying to plug night jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
That's what it'll be shadow box.
BJ Different Acts has on sale 40% off.
Just giving guidance on like the smallest piece of it.
Yeah. I mean, and like personally, like, yeah, I would give them something very small to focus on in a bigger picture. Like if I want them to work on shrimping, maybe I want them to bridge before they shrimp so they're not sliding their hips across the mat. And so even though, their feet aren't in the right place or, they're not taking their hands to their toes or whatever, like if they're practicing bridging up their hips before they do whatever, I get that little win is probably how I would look to it after going on to nightjujitsu.com and yeah. Yeah. Sorry, what is it? It's Patreon, whatever. Just Google him. Look him up.
So could that
He's
be
there.
a thing kind of plug them to the coaches because I know like Janetti does different things that.
No, he doesn't.
If you're working on.
Sorry, I knew Ryan was in my head. I had to
Like
say
when
it.
you're working on your grappling, he talks about doing 100 shots a day.
Sure.
Shooting 100 times.
Yeah.
To go on
If
the
you
spot.
think you decide
I was trying to be precise.
quantity versus quality, we decide like, even if my shots suck, like I'm going to do them. Maybe. Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The internet. Yeah.
What I like to do is more on the strike and Muay Thai part is that I record them shadow boxing, and I'll be like, all right, these are two things I want you to work on, and then give the recording to them. They watch it, they work on themselves, they put it on their TV, whatever, and they'll watch themselves, and then because they're learning through themselves.
Yeah.
They're watching.
I like that a ton versus go home and film yourself. Like you don't get the immediate feedback. They don't understand. There's nothing there. Yeah.
And then they get it back and same thing, and then
I dig it.
eventually, nothing's gonna beat that one-on-one.
Yeah.
Time,
Yeah.
the quality.
I do that in classes sometimes where like they're doing something and I'm like, I don't think they know, and I'll film it and then show them. But yeah, to take it that step further, and I like it. It's exactly how I say it too. This is how you suck. Back to what you were saying. You said private lessons with me increased your abilities and you felt good and like everybody should book a private lesson. Got it. Good deal. All right. Other questions? I'm impressed there were questions at all. I don't know why I was, but I was, so thank you all. I feel valued and appreciated. Okay, so we're gonna break for today. Remember, we're meeting at 7:30 at the Grinning Mule. We'll hang out for a bit. Hard ready.
Clock's changed tonight.
Yeah. Hang on.
For Grinning Mule, they just reopened, and it's in an area called Plaza Midwood. It will be busy, so parking-wise, just expect to try and find parking and walk.
Yeah.
Just FYI. Also,
Thank you.
It's in like more of a neighborhood part versus like the fancy, cool part of Plaza Midwood, so you aren't lost. It's just
This is just where it is.
North Carolina.
Solid. Yeah, it's North Carolina. So 7:30, Grinning Mule will be there for a few hours hanging out. I guess probably Uber if you can, if you've got that. Yeah. Or carpool, like a lot of y'all are across the street. Clocks change tonight in a good way, like you get extra hour of sleep. And we're starting at 9 a.m. tomorrow with Janetti.
We're starting at 9.
Are we really? Are we really?
Like mentally.
We are.
Huh.
Because I have to be done at 11:30 out of respect for Daniel, and I will not go a minute over, but I want 2.5 fucking hours.
Okay, 9 a.m. Solid. Got it. Coffee in hand and ready.
There's no physical activity for mine, but so you can dress comfortably in the morning and all that kind of shit, but just be awake. Fuck you up inside out.
Be fully functioning human beings. You get an extra hour.
We just had a conversation.
It was about me.
Oh. A couple quick things before we leave in case you haven't noticed. All the coaches from the camp, their Instagram handles are there. You'll notice mine is a little different than what you might think it would be. Just, shameless plug. Next board is discount codes. We've got a bunch of courses for Q1 and Q2 actually up on the site right now. You get $100 off this weekend if you register with Coach Camp 100. We've got a RevGear discount code up there. If you're already a RevGear customer, hit me up on how it works because I'm going to have to refer to my email. And then if you do any of the firearm training, our next level cert code is up there to get a 10% discount on cert pistols. So take pictures of that board. Budo Brothers are up there. They're up there.
We don't discount.
Oh, they discount for all the other things. Like, yeah.
We'll put a promo code up there for you.
Solid, beautiful, excellent. There you go.
It has nothing to do with the coaches camp, but BJJ Fanatics definitely has a deal right now.
Yeah.
48% off.
You have to take advantage of it now.
Yeah, so
46% off.
hey, you need pen and paper tomorrow, and you are going to be. This is an actual active, engaging,
conversing.
questions
Yeah,
and
solid.
like that. So.
Cool.
You ready?
All right.
Last one.
Yeah.
For tomorrow, I'm taking today's idea yesterday of notes. So what I want you guys to do is write down. My question is, how can you teach striking better? And what do you know about Muay Thai? So 2 questions is how can you teach striking better, and what do you know about Muay Thai? So just write down on paper. I'm gonna just be sitting back and just pass that paper to me. Cool.
Swizzle.
Cool. Riley. Everybody listen to Riley.
If you borrowed shit, put it against that wall. Also, please pick up your trash for me. Please. I know.
The housekeeping.